And Michael Danforth, as an attorney, you're probably not out there giving attorney classes or anything of that sort, but how do people get in touch with you if they would like to interact with you? Because you've obviously, you're more than your average bear, as Yogi would say.
Well, Brent, I mean, I'm always happy as a lawyer to help individuals. I give a lot of free advice. I always welcome phone calls or emails. I think that iron sharpens iron. And if somebody wants to get a hold of me, they can contact me at shawlawltd.com and be happy to speak to any individuals. In addition, other projects that I am interested in and promoting is I do a lot of work in Africa. I do a lot of work in the film industry with my wife, who I know you know, Brent. My wife has 2 PhDs in communications and biblical studies and has written a book called Transforming Culture, a model for faith in film in Hollywood. If we don't get our culture back, if we don't get our culture transformed, we're going to lose our great republic. So I would refer you or any listener to her website, which is www.jonahre.com, and what we're involved with there. And as far as Second Amendment issues, that's my passion. Any individuals that are interested in Second Amendment matters, we are available as a full-service law firm in those areas, and you can contact us again at www.shawlawlimited, which is ltd.com, and be happy to speak with you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. And our final question, or series of questions that I want to address, involves the general topic of socialized medicine. It's very popular throughout all the world's developed nations. However, most of the time, socialized medicine tends to result in lower quality health care, long waits for treatment, and bureaucratic interference in patients' ability to obtain their chosen treatments. Obamacare in the U.S. is a glaring example of a bad health care program. Considering the pros and cons of socialized health care, what do you think should be done with respect to health care, both in the U.S. and around the world? We'll throw out everything and rebuild it. Dr. Ben-Joseph, what would you do with health care?
Well, the first thing that I would do is I would incorporate naturopathic medicine, natural medicine, into every modality and into every single pathology as the first line of defense. That we are not using nutrition and natural means to help allow the body to cure itself, in my opinion, is malignant dumb. And that's dumb that keeps getting worse. And as we can see in Europe, the Codex Alimentarius is happening. And in April, most all of the vitamins, minerals, and herbs and the traditional Ayurvedic medicines and Chinese medicines will be off the market because of the European Union and Codex. And as Europe goes, so the harmonization bill, part of that in Codex that we already signed and agreed to in treaty, will happen at some point in the United States. So our ability to be able to use natural health care and choose our own vitamins and minerals and to choose to be able to deal with our own health, that will slowly disappear. There's a lot of knowledge out there about how to deal with yourself. And the one quote that I want to leave everybody with is that when you gain knowledge, when you gain information, self-knowledge without self-change is self-abuse. You must make the changes in your own body if you are going to survive the coming hard times.
Michael Badnarik, you are officially appointed the Surgeon General for God. You get to redesign healthcare, not only in the U.S., but around the world. How do you make it work?
We mandate that food is healthy. We give patients the opportunity to file lawsuits against physicians that make situations worse. instead of better. And, if I'm working for God, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get my way and people are going to be healthier. But, God, I like the guy, but he's got this really big thing about, everybody gets to make their own decision, free will, that kind of thing. So it's the whole, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And, God can put all this wonderful, bountiful, nutritious food in front of us. But if we keep, running through the fast food drive-through, there's not a whole lot that God's going to be able to do about it, because it's up to us. And I think Michael, maybe it was Eliezer was saying that we've got to change the way that people think, the culture in this country. People need to start taking responsibility for themselves. And your original question, I think, was discussing the pros and cons of socialism or socialism.
The original question was considering the pros and cons.
I don't know any pros for socialism.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Come on now, Michael. Everybody gets health care. Nobody is without. It's fair.
Well, I want to do the same thing for education, too. I want to make sure that nobody is without an IQ. So it's going to be just like Wizard of Oz. We'll just give everybody a diploma, and then, what, everybody's going to be smart?
Exactly.
What I'm trying to find out, though, is what would be, Mike Danforth, maybe you have the answer here, what would be a system that would allow people to pursue health care, I'm trying to word it carefully, that would actually work, that would not end up causing either the prices to go out of reach or the quality to dump into the toilet? How do you establish a system that does work? We certainly don't have one and haven't had one.
Well, Brent, that's a great question. I mean, obviously that's the $64,000 question. How do you do that? How do you cover individuals and make it cost effective? And again, one of the problems that we have in this country is our utter reliance on the pharmaceutical industry. Through the Food and Drug Administration and the pharmaceutical industry, they dictate what laws are passed in this country. And I tell you what, the reason we have more sick people in this country than a lot of other countries is because we're eating the wrong foods. We are allowing our foods to be, pardon the expression, bastardized by over-processing. I tell you, when I go to South Africa, Brent, and I know you and I were there together, you realized how wholesome and how fresh the food was, is because they don't put the preservatives in food that we put in our food here in the United States.
Oh, you could taste the food down there, yeah. Absolutely, and that's what it's going to take, is people getting back to organics. My wife and children and I eat 80% of what we eat is organic. This is necessary because food is your best medicine, and we don't understand that in this country. But if we can get rid of some of the overregulation in the pharmaceutical industry, get us back to healthy diets and healthy eating, get us back into a sense of community and caring for one another, from neighborhood to neighborhood. I mean, these are important aspects. We don't do that anymore. We don't do community anymore. And it's because we're so busy on our BlackBerries and stuck in front of the idiot box that we've forgotten how to be neighborly. And these are things that we need to get back to. But as far as, the health care, I tell you what, you make it cheaper by allowing people to associate themselves in groups of like-minded individuals who, in order to be a member of this group of health insurance, you got to promise to eat organically. I don't have typical health insurance. I have my health insurance through a Christian organization which allows me to buy and associate with individuals that don't smoke, don't do drugs, don't drink too much alcohol,
And this is a way that I'm able to keep my health insurance costs very low and very competitive. And that's what we need to do, is start associations that aren't regulated by the State Department of Insurance.